Hi everyone, it's Al. Today I'm going to do a review of this Evolution saw. Now what's different about this type of saw? I've had plenty of these type of things before, and the problem has always been changing the blade. Every time you want to cut a new piece of work, it may be thicker wood, you may need a rough cut saw, you might need a fine cut saw, you may need one for metal if you're cutting metal. And always the hassle was that if you had to do that, you tended not to use it. I mean, you tended just to reach for the saw that was going to cut the material you wanted. You might only want one or two cuts, in which case you'd just get the hand saw out, and they tend to find that the thing was never being used. Finally, it seems we've got around this problem, because here we have a saw that does cut all the materials with one blade. Now here we have it. I mean, if I show you the box here, you can see it cuts all these materials here: plastic, metal, alloy, iron, and it does them all with one blade. And another good thing it does, it will also cut through wood with nails. Now, I don't know if you've ever come across that. I have, and you come across nails stuck in a piece of wood and the blade's gone. As soon as it touches a nail in the in wood, you've had it. But this saw, it says it can do it. It can go through wood with nails. So what I'm going to do basically is put it to the test. Here it is on my workbench outside here. I've mounted it up, and as you can see, it's quite a mean looking beast. It feels really sturdy and nice. It has a sliding action, so you can put our wood in there and slide, or metal or whatever, and slide it along and cut. It also has the usual chop facility. If you tighten this down and just push the blade down slightly, pull the pin, and she'll raise up like that. And then you've got your chop capability. As you go down, the blade retracts, as you can see. I'm showing you all this with the power not plugged in, of course. Well, to show you the machine today, it's a lovely day, so I'll put it up on my outside workbench here, put it outside, and just to show you the machine. But obviously, if you are using it for portable use, it does need stabilising. Normally you would bolt down through these holes on a workbench, okay, where you want this position for normal usage, but obviously, as I say, today I've just brought it up on this little work table to show you it in operation. All these machines, obviously you can rotate it round, undo the main locking screw there. You have a lever here you can pull up, and you've got an index marker here with your degrees for cuts, which is very handy. So you can just swivel it round to what angle you want. So it's good for 45 cuts, but that's all generally on most machines. You get that type of arrangement and lock it into the angle you want. So basically a good machine. Another little extra though that is good with this machine is you do have a laser option here. A little laser light will go down on your cutting area, one machine, a bit of material you're going to cut, and put a beam, which is really handy to get a real precise cut in the right position. So there we are. That's basically, there's lots more this machine does. I'll try and cover a few of the other bits after we've tried it out, because first of all I want to try it out because the main reason you want this machine is to cut various materials. Right, before we do anything, of course, safety first, a must. Okay, you know what these are, put them on your head, and safety goggles. Okay, and one last thing with this machine, there is this device which is, in case you were to lose control of the blade, will help stabilise the machine. There's a hold here for it, okay, and it just pops in there, okay, and then that sits on top of there. Lock that down and lock that in, and that will hold it nice and firm. Now obviously it depends which way the work's coming in. If it's coming in from that way, you may have to put it the other way, and you may, if this is in the way also, because there's one for it this side, it may be in the way there. So it is restricted where you can use it, but if you can, put it on the machine before we start. So without further ado now, I think we'll move on to cutting some materials. So I'm going to take you through them one by one, and we'll see how we get on. Right then. We're going to use this piece with our first test example, and I'm sorry about the seagulls in the background, but we live on the coast and it's one of those hazards if you live on the coast. Tough luck, seagulls. Anyway, to the point, first piece of wood in. It should cut this very easily, and I'm sure it will. Make sure your hands are not inside this work area at all. Okay, they mustn't be inside the work area. If this is in the way, you will have to take it out of the way. I don't need to take it out of the way this time. So I'm going to slide that piece in and pull the trigger and release the there we go. Okay, make sure the machine stops fully. and take your piece of wood out, and don't put your hands in there, don't be tempted. As our first cut, and obviously clean as a whistle. I mean, you wouldn't expect nothing else from that. It's good, quick, easy and clean. So we move on to our next material. Okay, next up for our test is this piece of square alley. It's a bit of shelf racking, as you can see. Good strong alley, and we're going to see how it gets on with this next. I'm going to use it in a chop mode this time, because I think it's better for chopping this type of material. So we're going to put him in and use a little clamp at that end to try and hold him steady. You do get one with it like that, so that's quite nice. We'll hold him ready there, and we'll see how we get on with this one. So don't forget, when you're doing all these materials and putting them in place, do make sure you haven't got the machine plugged in, and then we'll put the plug in when we're ready, like now, and then we'll fire it up. So we'll put the plug in now. Okay, without further ado, we'll go for a cut on this one on the shop. So both triggers down. See, that has cut that alley beautiful. Very nice job, quite pleased with that. So that blade is now cut a piece of wood and a bit of metal. I'm going to go for something else now, a bit of copper tube. We'll see how we get on with that. So next up then, this piece of inch copper tube, and we'll see how we get on with that, how square a cut we can do with that. So I'm going to place him in. I can't clamp him at that end, so I'm going to have to hold him nice and firm as I can at this end, okay? And we'll just jump him down and get him in a bit further. That looks a lovely cut again. Copper tube, cut nice and square. Take that away from there. And there's our copper tube cut in half, so that's not bad at all. Getting through a few more materials. I've got another bit of steel tubing I want to try now, which is pretty hard, so we'll go to that next. Piece of steel tubing, hard as nails, hard stuff to cut. If you tried cutting this with junior hacksaw before now, you know how hard this stuff is, because of the chromium platings used to make it very hard. So we're going to try this next. We'll put him in, get him held nice and firm, and hit it slowly. Again, this looks like a really good cut. Never put your hands in the work area, okay, keep him clear. And there we are. We've got a little bit of burr there, but that's to be expected. But there's our cut, and it's pretty good. So I'm quite pleased with that. So we're going to move on now to one of the other good reasons for this machine, and that is it says it can cut through wood with nails on it. So we're going to try that next. Okay, this is our main test, I think, or one of them. I've banged some nails in the end of this piece of wood, that type of nails, and we're going to see how it gets on cutting through this wood and these nails, and see just how well it does on that. So we're putting him a try now. We're going to do him on a sliding cutter this time. Put him in there. We make sure he gets the nails. That should catch the nails nicely there. Now we'll clamp him up with a little clamp on this end, which is very handy, I must say. Sits in there and clamps that wood up tight, which is a nice little thing, because that holds it well. Okay, so we'll see how we get on now with that. We're going to slide him in and see how. Pull the wood out, and clamp it, and there we have it. As you can see, quite a good clean cut through those nails, no problem whatsoever. Got to say, exceedingly good, a lovely cut. Which I guess brings us on to our very last cut now, and I think that's when you have to use a bit of angle iron and cut iron. I mean, it is really hard stuff to do. I found an old piece from the garden, so we're going to give it a good test. That's our next piece up. Go with that next. Last test, bit of thick old rusty angle iron, quite solid steel. It's a lump of, well, still it's iron, and we'll see how we get on with this, because this is quite hard stuff. I've had to take the stabiliser off because I can't get it in. These usually go for a chop, and we usually put them down at this kind of angle, and we'll see how we get on with this. This is hard stuff indeed. nice and steady with the steel metal, but as you can see, take both ends out, that is a lovely cut. So I'm pretty impressed. Just got this saw. It's the Evolution Rage 3 it's called, and I say it comes out of Sheffield. They do the stuff on this machine, so I like the fact that it's, you know, English based. So let's go through the last few details and I think we're there. Okay, so the machine does all the usual other stuff, you know, crown cuts. You can bevel the machine to the left there. There's our little gauge there. I took you through that because I mainly want to show you the cutting thing of this machine, which is what this demo is all about today, and the lovely laser mechanism, which is great for getting that cut dead right. You've got plenty of adjustments for the laser too. So overall, am I impressed with this machine? Yeah, I think I can safely say I am. How long does the blade last? Well, again, unfortunately, depends what you cut and what materials you're using it on, but hopefully quite a while. As you can tell, it's new out of the box at the moment, so obviously it's going to be at its peak performance at the moment. But am I impressed? Yes, I think I am. Yeah, I do like this machine. So if you're in the market for something a bit more meaty, a bit more beef about it, that can do materials and saves that awful changing of the blade, because that is the pain with these, isn't it? Why we never use them. So yeah, for me, I like it. It gets a thumbs up. Okay, so that's about it from me. All my videos, usual place, you know where to go, and my website, derrickton33.com. Thanks very much for watching. Bye bye.